Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 72 of Mirrorless Minutes. And we would have been a little bit later had Mike not said to me, "Hey, look at the clock." And I'm thinking, look at the clock that he got me for Christmas. I was like, yeah, I love it. It's right here. And I'm like, oh, crap. It's go time. So anyways, here we are. That's kind of how it's felt for the last couple of days.
Yeah, that was interesting. I think we were just kept talking. We were talking about things going on during the day at our jobs.
Yeah. Oh man. I had a rough day at work. Mike had a dentist appointment to go through. So it was just it was one of those days,
But hey, we are not going to miss Mirrorless Minutes.
No, right? No, we wouldn't do that. We're it's back to reality, after the dream job, the dream life that we have, getting to do things like out of Chicago, and at some point you have to get back to reality. So here we are. So that's kind of like, you can imagine, something we're going to talk about tonight. Obviously, mirrorless minutes. So we're going to talk about out of Chicago. Wow, it's definitely a hard day for me. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm going to lead off with something that we've been talking about for a while, and it's back there. Hey, I pointed in the right spot this time.
You did. You got it.
The DROBO that's sitting back there. We want to give this darn thing away. It's taking up space. How are we going to do it? Well, for one thing, it's going to be just the continental United States only this time. I'm sorry, people in New South Wales, New Zealand, Tahiti, Fiji, United Arab Emirates, wherever.
Just Montenegro.
Yes. Just the continental United States. So I'm going to put that out there right now, although there will be a little bit of a description on the Mirrorless Minutes Facebook page. Okay, so you're going to have to find out all the details there too if you forget what I say right now. It's a photo contest, and it's going to be not based on the most votes, because, man, I hate that, because there's a lot of people with way more friends than I have, and every time I've entered one of those contests, they cream me based on sheer number of buddies that they have who have nothing better to do but like their photos. So just go over to the Mirrorless Minutes Facebook page. You know where that's at, right? If you're watching this, you should know where it's at. And if you don't know where it's at, you got a little homework to do. And post a picture over there, okay? And we're going to ask, in order for us to be able to find your photo easily, you to use the hashtag Mirrorless DROBO. Mirrorless DROBO. Easy enough, right? It's unique. If we search for Mirrorless DROBO, it should just be photographs that show up, not anything else. So, so basically, we're going to run this one for a while. Okay, we're going to run this for about a month here. So we're coming up on the 4th of July weekend. I'm thinking that our first show in August, we're going to announce a winner. Now, what genres, what category of photo is it going to be? It's open. It's really open. What we're looking for is an image that just makes us go, wow. It doesn't matter if it's like an epic street shot, if it's a landscape, an animal, whatever.
Wedding photo.
The only, I guess, if there is a restriction to it, it's going to be probably no nudes. I mean, it's Facebook, right? So there's not going to be any nudes on there, obviously. So, but other than that, it's pretty wide open. Because we know not everybody shoots, every genre. So, again, Mirrorless DROBO is the hashtag. You've got about a month or so to get an image out there for us. And it's not going to be just Mike and I that do this judging. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do something like Mike and I are going to each probably pick out our top 10 images that we like.
Right.
And then we're going to hand them off to another judge who's going to scale it down to the top 5. And then we're going to rope in some, a friend of ours who is yet to be named, who will maybe make the final selection down to the last 2, and then I think it'll go back to Mike and I to make that final decision. It sounds like a really lengthy, crazy process to do it, but I think that it will help. It just kind of helps break up the whole process and just kind of makes it a little more fun, and we get to wrap a few more people around in it. So the bad thing is that those people probably aren't going to be able to be involved in the contest, but that's okay. They're just going to have to deal with it.
So, life. It is life.
It is life. Life can be rough.
I think it's going to be, if I'm looking at my calendar, right?
And Mike's always got a calendar.
I do. July 26th show, if that makes sense. But you know what? We'll make sure of that.
No, first show in August.
Oh, first show in August. So we're not going to go in 2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
So then that's going to, it's going to be August 9th then.
Yeah, it gives us a month. It gives everybody a month to kind of get out there and
even better
and get some shots, So You don't have to necessarily go through old stuff. You can go maybe make something new, which would be cool. And speaking of making something new, have you made any new images lately, Mike? Have you gone shooting anywhere?
No, I need to get out. I almost feel like I need a place like Chicago to go.
Right. Oh, man, it was a good time.
It was. I mean, it was. So we were talking, and we figured, God, we could probably waste the whole show, or I don't call it waste, but do the whole show,
right?
Out of Chicago highlights, even probably some low lights if we wanted.
Sure. Yeah.
You can listen to Derek Story's podcast to get those. Those are pretty funny, I thought, on his podcast.
It was good.
So there's a plug for Derek, and go watch his podcast.
Yeah.
Since he put one in for us too on his podcast.
Right.
But I think the two things I'm going to go with two things that I really was happy with this year. And the first one was the class I gave was on doing, picking and selecting your own photo project, how to go about it, what to happen. It was real small. And I know, we commented about the class might have been a little smaller than last year you did, or the 1 year before. But I was happy with mine because it really got interactive. And it was only like 12 people, but it was the right 12 people. So if you're listening and you're in that class, you know who you are. And it really got going. And by the middle of the day, Saturday, just on the streets of Chicago, even this lady wasn't even in our photo walk, but she was walking in the streets with another photo walk. You know how big Chicago is. I mean, even seeing other photographers doesn't happen a lot. She runs over and tells me, I got my project. She goes, your class did it. I got it. And she works in Chicago, and every single afternoon, she just has a camera in her drawer that she shoots with all the time at lunch. She goes out and walks at lunch, and she's been doing this. She goes, I'm going to do it and call it noon in Chicago. She goes, I got my whole project. She goes, I've been shooting it for a year too. I said, how cool is that? So I think I was real happy with, to hear that, and know that came out of the class. And I'm sure some others are too. And then right after that, literally right after that, Jamie saw me in the streets running, to catch up with my group. We were taking Derek and I took 15, 20 people over to Wicker Park, one of my favorite places to shoot for sure in Chicago. It's not as clean as your Michigan Avenue, State Street area. Lots of graffiti, lots of, cool alleys, stuff like that. Really eclectic stores. But this year was perfect. And, probably one of the things we should say is great about Chicago this year was the weather.
No,
it was like San Diego. It was in the 70s.
Yeah.
It was just beautiful. I don't think any other year has been like that. Any other year.
Not that I've been
so
there.
Darn hot.
Yeah.
But in any case, this time the people were friendly. We had people come up to us and they saw us shooting and they say, hey, you guys, you need to get over to Walgreens. And we're thinking, what is this person talking about? Walgreens? And they go, no, you get over there and shoot inside Walgreens. You know what? We all said, yeah, let's do it. And so 6 of us that were with me, or 7 of us, I don't know, that were with me, go to Walgreens. It used to be an old bank. It was beautiful inside. Really? It was the most beautiful architecture, like Chicago, of course. Amazing. And we're all shooting inside Walgreens.
That's awesome.
I can't believe I can't believe actually someone from Walgreens didn't come up to us. But we're shooting the ceiling, we're shooting the side lights, and everyone's walking around Walgreens taking pictures. But Wicker Park turned out to be great. So those are my 2 highlights amongst many's, but those are probably the ones I remember the most.
Nice.
So how about you? I know you have a couple for sure.
Man, so I had 2 picked out, but I just kind of want to throw a third one in there just briefly. But
yeah,
well, I can tie the 2 of them together. So the 2 that I'm going to tie together are the photo walk that you and I did over at Adler Planetarium to shoot the Chicago skyline, which I don't know if Mike's going to share any photos from that, but I've got 2 to share from it because it was just an incredible night, and so one of the highlights, aside from being able to lead a group over there, was the fact that, we had a previous workshop attendee from Philadelphia, Mark Evans. When I saw him for the first time in Chicago, I thought, holy smokes, like Mark's here. This is freaking awesome, you know? So that was just kind of, I didn't know he was going to be there. And that's just kind of the beauty of doing like workshops like this, especially big things like out of Chicago. You just don't know who you're going to run into there, you know? And it was a treat to get to shoot with Mark again. So I don't know if he's watching or if he will watch, but it was cool to get to shoot with you, Mark. It was a highlight for me. So and then tying right into that too, again, on the same walk, there was a couple of young ladies that were there, Mandy and Tiffany. And I remember Tiffany because she said like the jewelry store. And I know she's probably not watching this at all, but maybe Mandy will, because she seemed pretty interested in the Olympus cameras. Actually, very, very, very interested in the Olympus cameras. But again, you know, a highlight is for me is just working with somebody to you know, to help them make an image like something that they had never done before, you know. And Mandy had even posted on Facebook, you know, that her favorite photos taken at the whole Out of Chicago conference were the ones that Mike and I were helping her make during our walk at Adler. So that to me was just a great experience. The other one was a new thing that Chris started doing at Out of Chicago this year. He called it like a photo shootout or something of that nature, some sort of a shootout. Maybe a weird play on words because we're in Chicago, and I won't make any bad references there, or maybe I just did. But anyways, it was just kind of this weird thing, you know, where you had like all these rooms set up, and then different presenters and teachers were doing different things in all these rooms. So for instance, Giulio Sciorio was there. I never know if I'm saying his name right, but Giulio was in a room, and he had these crazy Philips LED, like, I don't even know what they are, like fiber optic cables, you know, that he was shining light through with models and then hitting them with like a fog machine and getting really cool shots. And Mike and I were doing in a dark room live composite. And that was
only dark room.
We were, and people would peek their head in the room and look and just kind of look around like, what's going on? I'm like, no, come on. And let me show you what we're doing. You know, and then it was just, it's the same thing over and over again. And I'll repeat it over and over again. The coolest thing is to show somebody live composite when they watch the back of the display on the camera, and they're just like, their mind is just, they're exploding. They're like, oh my God, really? Like I'm watching this like happen in real time, you know? And I'm like, yeah, and it's never overexposing. And people are just like, oh my God. And Mike's got his big iPad Pro out showing them like crazy high def images of what live composite does. And just watching their expressions is just astounding. You know, it's just so cool. And I'm almost done with this, but next to us, there was the coolest dude ever. So Robert Vanelli, he does his own workshops and everything, but he's also part of the Photo Focus whatever conglomerate of like podcasts and tutorials and the website or whatever. And he was doing these portraits. And are you showing your portrait? Is that one of the things you're going to show?
I'm going to show a preset, but not on my not of me. Right. Do you have yours?
I'll get mine. I'll get mine queued up to show it. So you guys can see what these. So Robert had this. Or I'm sorry, not Robert. Vanelli. That's what he goes by. So Vanelli had this whole photo thing set up where he was just doing portraits and just boom, just firing through people, applying this preset, giving them this kind of like crazy grungy rock star kind of look to it. And it was just it was so fun. And he was just such a character and a great personality. I'm hoping that at some point in time I get to hang out with this guy and shoot again because it was a blast. So those are kind of like two of my big 3, 4, I don't know how many highlights I went through. Several of my highlights out of Chicago, meeting old friends, making new ones, inspiring people to shoot, hopefully, and helping them make great photos, and just hanging out and shooting in Chicago with my buddies. Like Seth came. I got this first time I hung out with Mike, and like we do this every other week, but we don't hang out like a couple of times a year this year.
Yeah, you really don't have the time to do that for sure either.
So it was fun. It was definitely an experience, and I hope to God that I go back next year and that people that are listening do the same and they attend. It's an astounding experience.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you if you hear us talk about it and it's bugging you that you think, God, these guys never stop talking about it.
Right.
It's really different. I mean, it's just such a different type of show. It's not Photo Plus. It's not just all vendors. In fact, I think almost vendors seem like to take a lesser stage.
Oh, they do. I
mean, and the roots are street photography, but boy, it's really branching out. Especially, in stuff like you do when you're doing your landscape, your urbex stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really branching out from just the old street photography, and street photographers there to help you out. So
Right. Yep. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Like last year, I think one of the biggest classes was the one I was doing. It was on landscape photography. So, I'm thinking, man, maybe I need to do that next year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, those are my highlights. And do you want to share some photos? Or do you want to talk about this little gnarly box you got?
Yeah, all right. I'll talk about this, and I'll make it quick here. Let's see if I can get I'll get my screen up so I know I'm doing this right.
There you go. I can see it.
All right. So the Narbox, and it's GNARBOX, started out as a Kickstarter, and if I'm completely wrong on all the specs, check it out yourself. But I'm not going to be spec crazy on it. But it's a portable hard drive that you can take out into the field, powered by Bluetooth, but it's also got an Intel processor in it. And I'm going to open it up here so you can see the kind of things on the inside. You've got place for your SD card, micro SD, USB 3 is there, and then a USB 2. And basically what it'll do is you can go and from here be in the field anywhere. No Wi-Fi, no nothing. It creates its own Wi-Fi, a lot like Olympus cameras. I mean, and you can be in the middle of, I don't know, let's go somewhere, Jamie. Iceland.
Oh, I was going to say BFE, but okay.
or Chicago,
because
I did this all in Chicago. But anywhere, and you can edit video, 4K video on this, and all your images, and you put them right from the card onto this, and you do right in their editing program. So you can actually take clip down the videos, make a highlight reel, get stuff ready to post, and then what you do is you use your cellular plan to post the stuff because you're hooked on to their Wi-Fi here.
Right. So hold on for a second. So I'm out shooting, and I pull the card out because I'm really interested.
Yeah.
Slap the card into it, transfer the images over onto the Narbox.
They stay on there.
And they stay on there. And it helps use the processing power in that to do the editing. But what are you editing on? Do you plug in your iPhone or iPad?
Yeah, you're editing everything on your iPad. Obviously, nothing's attached all over the Wi-Fi that this thing sets up.
Weird. So the processing power isn't needed by the iPad. It's all done in that box.
It's all done inside the box, and there's it's not much latency at all. I mean, it's very quick.
That's crazy.
Especially the photos. I'm sure the videos, I haven't done a lot of video with it yet, but what's cool is you got a drone video. So you got your micro SD.
Yeah.
Pop it in. You're sitting outside. You could be in your car. Boom, boom. It lasts about 2.5 hours on a charge.
Nice.
You can charge it from one of your, like we carry with us.
Little battery.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks. Yep. Yeah. Right at hand there. And you can charge it from there. And the other thing that I know some people have given it, I mean, just they wish it was bigger. It's only it's an SSD drive, which is great, but it's only 128 gigs. So it might be a little small when you're thinking 4K video. Right. But the thing that I really like the most is, I think I showed you all the USBs it have. It has, I hook up my USB 3 terabyte drive from Western Digital to it at the same time, and they go right on there. So I have 2 backups of my cards.
Wow, dude.
That's cool. I mean, in 500 shots or whatever. I can't remember what I took that one day. I had 500 shots on the camera when you start adding up JPEG and RAW.
Now, is that
and that's the other thing. You're editing your RAWs. Ooh. You are editing your RAWs through their program. You are not editing JPEGs.
Spending money.
Yeah, and it's on Amazon now.
That's even better. It makes it even easier.
Yeah, it makes it easier when there's money out there that you might have.
Yeah,
people give you presents for Father's Day.
When you flipped open the cover for the port, that makes me wonder: is that like moderately weather sealed? I mean, it looks like you can get rained on.
It's more than moderately. You said it good, man. Yeah, that's a word for some reason I can't say tonight.
The dentist.
It is very weather sealed as long as those are closed. In pouring rain, mud,
nice.
3-foot drop.
Hence the name Gnar, like gnarly.
Yeah, like gnarly. Awesome. A lot of their advertising, of course, is like it's sticking in mud and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
I really just, you know what, I've got a lot more testing to do, and we'll see what it is, see what else we can do with it. But it's pretty cool, and I don't see any reason to take a laptop at all on my next trip. And I'm going out to San Francisco. I'll take the NAR box and
And
my
an
iPad Pro.
Nice,
And
dude.
then I can edit my raw files.
Even nicer.
So there you go.
I like that.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, we'll put a link to it in the
Definitely.
show notes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because you got me kind of interested in that. So.
Yeah.
Been a while since I've bought any gear. My wife's probably cool with that. But
I was just gonna say, she
think,
looked really happy when you dropped me. We stopped at your house on the way home.
Yeah,
I think she said something to my wife like, "Gosh, Jamie hasn't bought gear in a while."
Yeah, it's about to change, honey. Good thing she doesn't watch this. So
that's right. Mine either.
All kinds of stuff here. So I guess so. Let's see. We wanted to talk about the NAR box. We did that. Yep. So let me just drop this really quickly here. I promised that I was going to set up a kind of like some free meetups. Look for that to come up. They'll be posted before the weekend. So that gives me like 2 days to get them posted. I'm going to post a couple of different weekends where I just want to hang out and shoot. Probably one's going to be on the west side of the state, and I'm going to do another one probably more towards the mid-Michigan area. Again, just kind of a free, let's get together and go shoot. I've been doing that with a few people, taking them out to this barn that I might shoot every once in a while. So, but anyways, yeah, so just keep an eye on that on the Mirrorless Adventures page, and also on the Mirrorless Adventure page. We're slowly getting people signing up and for the fall workshop that Mark Miller and I are going to do together on the west side of the state, shooting lighthouses and fall colors. And just want to throw this out there because it was mentioned a couple of times to me by female viewers that they are really interested in going, but they don't want to be the only woman that goes. It just takes one of you to sign up. Then you're not going to be the only one, because I guarantee there's going to be some other people following you. And just to let you know, my good buddy Jen from Olympus, she's coming as well. So there's already a woman that's going. She's just not signing up because it takes away a spot on the sign up sheet. So there's already one woman going. So just go ahead and sign up. Don't worry about it.
That's a good point. You know,
yes.
I agree with you. We've heard that on other workshops too.
Yeah. Yep. Don't want to be the only woman, and I don't blame you. You know. So photo share.
Yeah. Why don't you go first?
All right. Let me get my little menu dealio popped up here. That's the technical term for it. At least that's what I'm going to say. And here we go. And I was talking about a barn that I shoot, and that's the one. So, yeah, last night, a buddy of mine from West Michigan came down to this area and messaged me on Facebook and said, "Hey, guess where I'm at? I'm in Eaton Rapids." And I'm thinking, that's weird because you don't live anywhere near here. And he says, "I hear there's a barn down here to shoot." So, you know, of course, I'm going to take him out to the barn and shoot. But anyway, so this is, again, you know, me just trying to find another way to shoot the same location over and over again. What do you do when you've got an empty sky with no clouds at sunset? You try to put something interesting in the foreground. And I'm one of those weird people who actually have like favorite flowers, you know, a guy to have favorite flowers. There's several of us out there probably in the world. So I like Queen Anne's lace. It's a member of the carrot family, if you didn't know. Just wanted to mention that. So that's what's in the foreground here. Shooting, of course, with the Nisi filters on. The reverse graduated neutral density filter, so that I can kind of tone down the sun as it's hitting the horizon there. And if you want to know how to get the starburst, for those people who aren't sure how to get that look, you just change your aperture to like a big number. So this was like at f16, if I'm not mistaken, because I wanted that little sunburst going on there. The next shot. So this was taken actually the weekend or the week of out of Chicago, just earlier in the week. And I mentioned it, I think, at the workshop, and I might have mentioned it when I was doing a live broadcast for Vanguard as well. That was actually taken this night. If you go to shoot a sunset, and this is just a little tip I'm throwing out there because we should probably do tips a little more frequently than we do. Sunsets are great. I love shooting a sunset. And 2 tips for shooting a sunset. Number 1 is stay at least 15 minutes after sunset, because colors really start to ramp up after the sun has set. And then also after the sun sets, or just as it's setting, you should probably look over your shoulder every once in a while, because I'll tell you what, that's honestly, there's just as much excitement most of the time behind you during a sunset as there is right in front of you where the sun is actually setting. And that's kind of what this is. This was behind the sunset. Gorgeous color in the sky. And, you know, I'm always looking for the things that nobody's looking at, you know, like in the weeds. So I'm just looking in the weeds and find these, you know, cute little yellow flowers in there. Decided to frame them in the foreground and make those my point of interest and use the sunset skies as kind of the backdrop. And again, this with the Nisi, this is not a reverse graduated neutral density filter, though. This is just a regular graduated neutral density filter. And I'm on the 12 to 100 here also. So I'm kind of cranked in, not super wide at 12. I think I'm probably more like the 40 millimeter range, kind of help compress that background and blow it out a little bit out of focus. Welcome to Chicago, where people don't like it if you stick a camera in their face. So I put my camera up, and this guy is right in the process of waving his hand up to block the camera. But you know what, buddy? I got you. So definitely one of my favorite shots of shooting people there. Mike kind of taught me that, you know, there's certain people that you can shoot that really don't have, well, I'll just say it. There's not a damn thing they can do about it. He's not going to jump out of that window and come get me. Just like people that are on buses and things like that nature. It's like the sissies street photography. So that's my gateway into street photography. I shoot the people that aren't going to be able to come and get me. Yeah, I don't know. Something about riding the L and doing this stuff is fun. My favorite shot, probably street shooting in Chicago, was this one right here. And Mike and I don't even know what we were doing. I don't know if we were going to the hotel or back from the hotel. All I know is we were walking, which we do like a lot of out of Chicago. But we crossed this intersection and I saw this. Well, no, it's not a lake. It's just actually a little puddle that's probably like 8 or 9 feet long. And my experiences from shooting in Arizona and Sedona were to just get right almost into the water when you're shooting a reflection. And you can make a little mud puddle look like a giant puddle. And what I was really chasing, though, was the symmetry that I could get. You know, basically, Mike likes the mirror mode on the TG4. And
Right.
I was kind of emulating that, you know, with this. But it's funny because we're walking and I run over and I shoot. Mike looks over his shoulder, you know, and then I start to go back and I turn around because I looked at the camera really quick. You know, I was like, dang, I wanted a little more like of the puddle in it because I think I was tilted up too high the first one. So I run back and Mike probably remembers I just stuck my hand down almost next to the water and just snapped the photo again. It's literally like a 3-second thing. And I think that that's just something that you kind of get with experience in shooting. You know, I knew that there was a shot there. I knew what it was going to take to do it. And I didn't have to like get down low and do all this crazy composition. I literally bent at the waist, stuck my hand down till the pen F was almost touching the water and snapped the photo. And that was it. And this was with the 17 millimeter f1.8, which is, that's the bomb, baby. The pen F and the 17 are like the ultimate combo for me. And this was just processed using a preset that I've made in Lightroom for myself. I like this. This made me happy. This was like a big highlight for me, was to be able to see Chicago from this vantage point at Adler Planetarium. And this is a long exposure, not a live composite. And I really couldn't tell you the length of time on it. I don't remember, and I'm not going to dig into EXIF to see it. But this is with the 12 to 100, and all my shots from Adler Planetarium, for anybody who goes to Chicago and wants to shoot from this vantage point, the 12 to 100, and I think I spent most of my time shooting probably in the 40 or 50 millimeter range. So full frame people, if you watch this, which if you're watching it, you need to convert, right? So 100 millimeters. For you folks, you know, 50 millimeters for us smart micro 4/3 people. And I think that was, you know, like a great focal length. I'm going to guess that this was probably about like a 10 or 11 second exposure, just enough to get the water to smooth out pretty well. The next one, it needs work, so don't pick on me. Don't be mean, because I need to correct my perspective here a little bit. This was shot a little bit wider back. So this was probably closer to like the 20 millimeter range, somewhere around there. But it is a 5 or 6 shot pano, and I didn't do it precisely. And you can tell because, well, the buildings have a little bit of funk to them. But what's interesting about this to me personally is that these are all bracketed shots. So It's actually a total of 18 exposures. So each three shot, three exposure bracketed shot, blended in Lightroom to make an HDR. And then I did that for all 6 of those groups and then merged all of them into like a big HDR panorama. It was a Pride weekend, obviously, in case you can't tell by the buildings in the background there in Chicago. So the buildings were all lit up with rainbow colors and Pride on that. I can't remember the name of that hospital there, that medical center, but it was really cool. It was a cool night. And then the sky just had this crazy glow to it as the clouds moved in. So that was a really cool experience again as well. And then the last one is me. And that is the preset that Vanelli was using. It's just got this it's probably great for athletes, is my guess. Well, looking at me, I'm not an athlete, but so it's what the preset was kind of fun, and it literally, I wanted to have like this rough and tough, kind of grr look on my face. And every time I would start to like get into character, that guy would just make a joke and I would just crack up laughing. So that's the photo that I got out of it. And he was giving away the preset to everybody, that participated in the thing. And I don't remember how many portraits he took that day during the shootout, but he took a lot.
He took a lot. I'm positive he did. Yeah. And so we were coming back from dinner on your reflection shot.
Yeah. Okay.
Back from dinner. And it was the only puddle left.
Yeah.
Because it was so beautiful. I think all the wind and everything dried up all the puddles from the rain when we had originally gotten there.
Yeah.
That shot, man, I'm telling you, I like your other shots, but you hit it. I even put it in the notes there.
Oh, cool.
That's the killer shot. That is just good. But you know what is, I think it's good. And somebody else said it in one of the comments. It's that preset though.
Yeah.
That does it. Cause it does look cinematic. It does not have, it looks like you took it with a real old manual lens to me.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So that is, yeah, exactly. I think that was the one that just really hit it there. But yeah, the Vanelli shots are great. I found mine, so I threw mine in there. So
cool.
I can do that. But all right, so I'll pop in and see if I can. Do this, and there it is. Okay. Okay, are you seeing the rolling hills? Okay. Yep. This is the One Tree Hill. I never watched that program, but it sounded funny. So so this is in San Jose. This is right after the last show of Mirrorless Minutes. Jamie and I finished up. Of course, we've got a 3-hour time difference. I'm in San Jose. I found this cool place called Sierra Vista. Now, if you're out in San Jose, you probably already know about it. Maybe it's not that cool to you. To me, very cool. Drive up the mountain on great curvy roads. Wish I had a different car than I did. I had some big old Suburban or something that I was driving. Beautiful area, and it takes you up with fantastic shots and night shots of San Jose, which I'm not going to show you tonight. But in either way, this is just the sun setting, hitting the mounds out there, and then this high grass, and this was shot with the Pen F. And I'm going to tell you, I don't keep primes on it. I know Jamie does all the time, but traveling, I had one choice. Pen F I brought with me, and I brought the 12-100. So I had the 12-100 on it, and this shot here. Then obviously the sun continued to go down, and people continued to pull up to the top. And I knew I didn't have much choice to get it because it was nice and dark where I was sitting in this one-off parking lot. But people kept driving by, so I said, well, I got to do live composite. I'm here. I got the camera. I got the tools. Let's make it happen. And with the mountains, I don't get a lot of live composites. Usually they have city and stuff all around them, but I don't get many in the mountains. So I thought this was really cool to see that. And so let's jump over to out of Chicago. I always talk about Wicker Park. This is the kind of area Wicker Park is. Okay. You can walk up to anybody's on the street, like this lady here driving her bike, waiting for the light to turn. I could get right up in her face, of course, with the beautiful combination of the Pen F and the 17. Get her to do something goofy just by saying I love her glasses, and people are easy. And if you know much about Wicker Park, and I think Vicky might be listening, so right here is Stan's Donuts, and you don't leave Wicker Park without grabbing a Stan's donut. I think everybody in our little walk had a Stan's donut on the L on the way back. But in any case, this is done in that preset. Jamie talked about his photo was done by Vanelli. And it is good for sports. And I do think he uses for sports a lot, but I'm telling you, in the street, I went back and did a bunch of old pictures from the street. I'm loving it. And you're going to see me using that preset on some street photos for sure in the future, especially when they get grungy like that. For some reason this year was a dog day like crazy in Wicker Park. And I just love this one. And, you know, like Jamie said, it's a quick focus, quick grab camera. And I didn't wait around for him to stick his tongue out at me, but it worked and it was perfect. So had to grab that shot. I just love it. It's just reminded me of how many dogs there were that day. So that was a lot of fun. So let's go over to Adler Planetarium and talk about what Jamie was talking about. That definitely was a highlight because I think we helped so many people that night, and it was so cool. And it literally was sort of cool because it was windier than crap out there. You're on Lake Michigan. Two guys I probably should have known better. We talked about it, but we were cool. And this, so I started doing live composite at night there. Jamie worked with doing some HDR, and you'll see below I've got a pano. We never talked to each other about what we're going to show, so it's pretty funny that he's showing a pano and so am I. But this live composite is 6 minutes. It's probably less than a second because the light was still outside. Probably like an F12, F13 with the 12-100 and the EM1 Mark II. But I let it go for about 6 minutes, and that's why you've got all that cloud brush and people wondering why this wall and why this didn't look brushed out. And I'm going to tell you, this was the oddest cloud. And I know Jamie will comment probably when I'm done, is this was like a huge wall. It was like the wall in the Mummy movie of sand, but this was a cloud, never moved till it got real dark, and then it started breaking up. So these were just spraying off the top. It really is what was happening there. It was breaking up, but beautiful night. You can see some of maybe a boat or so, or this actually is Lakeshore Avenue. Could be cars running through there. And then, so Jamie experimented with HDR. I did a 6-shot pano, vertical shot pano. And what I did is I did it in live composite. And you ask, well, how the heck do you do live composite panos? I just made sure that I put all the settings the same, and I let it run for 1 minute on each shot. So it is 6 shots, each at 1 minute a piece. And you'll see like this shot here has a little bit of probably a plane that was just starting. If I would have let it, if I had the whole shot in there, you'd see everything. But so these are all 1 minute live composite shots. And it was a beautiful night to really shoot anything. Lots of experimenting I think we were doing out there as we were teaching people. And so I had to put in my Vanelli shot again. Not Mr. Athletic by any means, but I sure like the way it looks. And I think that's the thing that, you know, you want to do is try to, you know, if you start to like this shot that someone else took of you, I actually showed people that shot. So I was real happy.
Yeah,
but,
I was wondering how that would turn out, because I remember you were talking about doing a live composite in a pano, and everybody, well, not everybody, but I know we were both chattering back and forth, and I think maybe Mark was involved, you know, wondering how the software would look at stitching it together, like what differences you'd have from one live comp to the next in order for it to figure out how to merge it. But it looks like it worked out pretty good. So
I think there were less planes in the air and no plane on each of the overlaps, which helped.
That's really good.
I don't know how you time that, and then the second thing I think that helped is I really watched the 1 minute, because you could get distracted and let it keep going. And then something's going to get funky on it. So definitely.
Super cool. Well, I think I'm probably about out of stuff to talk about. I know we kind of went on and on about out of Chicago, but you know, It just says, it speaks volumes to what the experience is like of being it out of Chicago. And, you know, just want to, again, you have to thank Chris Smith.
Yeah.
And he's got a whole army of people that help, you know. I'm going to drop two names, you know, Tim Karras and Larry Chua. They both, I think, are instrumental people. And I know they've helped out Mike and I a lot, you know, individually. And, you know, there are many others there too that have been, you know, extremely helpful for everything. I'm just mentioning Larry because he's the one that made sure my my projector got working right, because I was sweating it for a minute there. I was worried I was going to show two guys. Yeah, Larry helped you too. Because I was thinking, oh man, I hope I don't have to show everybody a presentation on a freaking 13-inch MacBook. Like, that's not going to be cool at all.
Yeah, exactly. And Tim was a photo walk extraordinaire. In fact, Derek gave him Derek goes, I don't do any photo walks in Chicago without Tim Karras. He sounded like that like commercial. He goes, I walk nowhere without Tim Karras.
Yeah, nice. He's the insurance policy.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, so with that being said, you know, I think that it's funny. Monty Montgomery said he walked 35 miles out of Chicago. And you know what? I am not surprised. This year was a short one for me. I think probably, I'm guessing here, but I know it's probably like at about 15 miles. I know last year it was like 21 or 22. Right.
It was a little shorter. I think I had, well, it's close to 20, but yeah, it was definitely shorter. I just, before we sign off, because I know we're going long, but I do want to say, if you're out on the West Coast, I even put it on my little byline there.
Yeah.
Is that I have an event next Saturday. Well, a week from this Saturday, I'm sorry, on July 8th at Looking Glass Photo. It's going to be an entire Olympus day. So it's, you know, mirrorless entirely, all Olympus. We're going to have Olympus reps there. We'll be doing presentations. I've got a presentation on street photography, and we're doing a photo walk. So cool. And it may be in Chinatown on the Oakland side. So I have never been there. I am really excited about that. So yeah, come out there if you can, check it out. Definitely be worth it. And I'd love to, I want to make sure I can say hi to some mirrorless minutes. That
would definitely be good.
For sure.
You know, and again, before we go, just swing over to the Out of Chicago website and register for 2018. And if you register for 2018, if there's any way to mention that Mike and I sent you, do it. You know, it helps to know that we're directing people to the coolest of the country. And don't forget, start submitting those photos now, immediately.
What's the hashtag? Mirrorless
DROBO. Mirrorless DROBO. Got it, folks? We'll see you guys in about 2 weeks. You guys have a safe and fun 4th of July if you're in the States. Bye.